Welcome everybody to the Newcomers meeting. It's 19th November and we'll be starting in about a minute. So while we wait for the latecomers to join in, please go ahead, add your name to the attendees list here. If you don't, I'll end up doing it for you, and then I do not guarantee the right spelling or the right surname if I do not find one. You can always go correct those. But please do go ahead, add your names, add any topics that you want to the agenda. That can include anything that you're working on, anything that you're looking to work on, or any domain that you want to work with but cannot find in the Layer5 projects. Or if you've been looking through the project and don't understand something, go ahead and add it. We'll talk about it. Fair warning to all the people joining in for the first time. We have this tradition of, well, harassing people in the best sense possible so that you can come up and give a small intro about yourself and maybe what you do, or maybe what you're interested in doing, or your favorite color, or anything that you want to say about yourself. And we'll be starting with those in a minute. So if you don't have a mic, go get one. Or if you don't, or if you can't get one, the chat is good enough. Let me introduce myself, which I always forget to do in these calls. My name is Shruti. You'll find me with the same Slack username if you want to contact me on Slack, which basically means that you're not completely annoyed by my ramblings in this call, which is great and quite an achievement. um, I'll be hosting the call for you today, and I'll also be hosting a couple of the other calls for the other Layer5 community calls that you might want to join and that you should join if you're interested in the projects, or if you want to get started either with open source or with the Layer5 projects, or with service meshes, or with cloud, or well, with a lot of things. Uh, Ruth is my co-host for this particular meeting, and she'll be telling you all
Hi
about the
everyone.
hey, and she'll be telling you all about the Layer5 side projects. And I'll let Ruth introduce herself now.
Okay, thanks, Shriti. Hi everyone. I'm Ruth Kiga. Yeah, and I'm a meshmate. And feel free to and welcome everyone first. Welcome to the Layer Five community. It's good to have you here, and thanks for making it to this newcomers meeting. We appreciate your presence. So, like I said, I'm Ruth Kiga, and I'm a meshmate, and I am a Python developer, and I also contribute via documentation in Layer 5. So, just in case you have any documentation issues, or just if you have any question, you could hit me up on Slack on the same name, Ruth Kega, and I will do well to answer your questions. If I do not have any answer to them at the moment, I'll move you to Shruti or someone else that would properly answer your questions. Yeah. So I'll be talking about Layer 5, an intro to projects in Layer 5 very soon. Should I go ahead now, or I think we have not done our usual culture with everyone introducing themselves. So I'll just let Shruti do that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ruth. Well, time for some embarrassing intros. Fair entry point. However bad yours goes, mine was worse, trust me. Uh, Arpit, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, hey guys, my name is Arpit and I'm a third year computer science student. And I'm glad to be here. I like working with blockchain and machine learning. And yeah, that's
Nice.
that's it.
Blockchain sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. I know I've been working with it myself for the past 4 months. Not that long a time. Still completely a beginner, but yeah. Definitely exciting. Who wants to go first? Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Sure, go ahead.
Hey folks, my name is Ekansh. I'm a final year engineering student at Triple IT Allahabad. I like to get my hands dirty with a lot of stuff like Python, JavaScript, Kotlin, and I'm just looking to contribute. I actually came across this project by accident yesterday, and I just thought I'd give it a look, and it looked kind of interesting. So I dropped in uh, to say hi, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to knowing the project and all of you people.
Nice. That's a pretty lucky accident, let me say.
Yes, true.
All right. Who's next? Sudan? I don't know. If you can't use your audio, that's completely fine. Just type something in the chat and let us know. Sudan? Can't hear you. All right, I'll move on for now, but if you can speak, please do speak up at any point during the meeting and we'll come back to you. All right, I can see a couple of old timers. Hey, Josh, and hey, Kishore. Thank you for joining in.
Hi,
Hey, all right, let me
thank you for
start then.
having me.
Sure, anytime. It's great to have you on the call. All right. Ruth, why don't you go ahead with the side projects and I will fire up my system in the meantime.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll share my screen. Yeah.
Sure,
Okay. Once you can see, please let me know.
will do.
Is it visible?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said earlier, welcome everyone, and thanks for being here. So I'll do like a brief intro to all the Layer 5 projects that we have. But usually I like using this meeting minutes as a reference because there are like so many resources here that you could look at and really get so much context on the Layer 5 community. So I'll start with this part, the information area. You could find like the calendar. If you click on this link, you'd see like the calendar where you can check up, like you can add up the meeting details to your own calendar, and you'd see all the upcoming meetings or events we have set up. Then there's a link to the Slack channel, and there's a link to the GitHub repository. Then you have like the YouTube channel. So usually on the newcomers meeting, we just like have tutorials, but unfortunately today we are not going to be having any tutorial due to the KubeCon conference currently going on. So we usually like have tutorials every newcomers meeting to like better onboard you to the Layer 5 project. So if you we've had like a couple very interesting and interactive and engaging ones. So if you check up the YouTube channel, you like see a lot of them. You see a lot of tutorials, and also every meeting is recorded. Like the newcomers, this current meeting is being recorded. So just in case you didn't get any points, you could go back, reference to the YouTube channel to like check on those recordings or those meetings you've missed out on. Then we have a link to the drive here. So if you click on here, you see like the Google Drive, and you get our drive where we have like so many materials on the Layer 5 books and all the materials. You can access the drive through this link. Then we have the guides. So as a newcomer and as a first timer, these guides are really, really very, very important and very necessary that you look at them and go through them. So the first one here is like the newcomers welcome guide, which is a very good resource for you to get onboarded and know how to pick up an issue or what to do when you come into the community, how to find good first issues. So there are like a whole lot of there are some steps here on how to like get you picking up an issue and actually solving them. So you should kindly look at this resource. Then we have the Layer 5 repository overview. But I see Shriti kindly did something very great, and she actually mentioned the Layer 5 projects here that are running on GKL and the ones running on Gatsby. So as you can see, all these projects listed here are running on GKL. So if you are in the front end space, if you're like a front end developer, we could really need your help. So GKL is a static site generator. So this site, this listed here, this stuff listed here, all the sites here run on GKL, and we have a site being developed right now with their 5ng that runs on Gatsby. So if you want to contribute via Gatsby, you can quickly check on this project, and you would get much. You would be able to contribute effectively. So I'll go back up. Yeah. So then there's also like, if you want to go to the repository overviews, like more context on the different projects and the stack. Like it's like the more context here. The front end project, you'd see the back end projects listed, and the adapter dedicated repositories. You see everything listed in this resource. Don't worry, it's not so much of a resource, so you don't have to like read so much. So another point, another part that's really very very nice, and what we've done for you is like curate the list of issues that are labeled help wanted, and the ones with the good first issue label. So if you click on either the help wanted or the good first issue, it actually takes you to a list of open issues that are with the either the good first issue label or like the help wanted label. So you can see like a whole lot of open issues that are here, and you could kindly make a comment that you want to take up the issue after like reading through it. So then there's another thing that is really very necessary. So there's the open source questionnaire. So yeah. So usually we want to at Layer 5 we want to like serve you best the way you want to, whatever tutorial or whatever tutorial whatever part of the project or whatever part of whatever repository or whatever tutorial you want to like really see, because usually on the newcomers call we have like all these tutorials being done here on the newcomers call. So this open source contributor questionnaire, Shruti, if you can just place it in the chat again. So it just basically you come in, put in whatever tutorials you like to receive. There are a whole listed tutorials, or if the tutorial you want to receive is not actually here, you can put it up on order. So we usually curate from these responses, from responses gotten here. We actually like know the next tutorial we want to take up on or what we want to do. So please do kindly fill this if you've not filled it before, and we would appreciate that. I think so. Lastly, I want to just quickly add in that whenever you're solving an issue, whenever you hop on a repository that you want to contribute to, please kindly start the repository, right? Then if you have any question, feel free to always ask. You could either unmute yourself, ask the question out loud, but if you do not want to ask out loud, you can pop up the question here in the meeting minutes, and we will do well to answer your questions. And I think that'll be all from my end. If you have any question, I'll be happy to get that one.
All right. Thank you, Ruth.
Sure.
Hmm. Well, let's move on. If you have landed up on this meeting, I'm assuming that you want to at least learn about Layer 5, or at the very minimum learn about open source. So let's continue and let's go see the Layer 5 projects. So if you make your way to the Layer5 website, I'm using this because it's easier to show. Well, we have 6 projects at the moment. Meshry is the central project, which is basically a service mesh management plane. I completely realize and understand if you do not know what a service mesh means. It's a relatively new piece of cloud native tech. And if you don't, well, I suggest you go read about it, and I'm pretty sure you'll learn some things. Um, I'll run Meshry for you in a little bit. My system is still firing up. And I'll also show you how to run it on your local system. Um, for the moment, if we move on, another one of Layer5's really good projects, and this is one of my personal favorites, is the landscape, which basically accounts and documents uh, a large array of service meshes and their features, their performance tests, their categories, their functional properties, and another amazing feature of Meshry. It is one of the not one of the it is the biggest mesh management plane that currently supports up to 8 meshes, and we are working on adding about 3 more. You'll find most of the industry standards here. Um, Not industry standards, but the most well-known projects. For example, Istio or Consul or Kuma or um, NSM, OSM, etc. Linkerd. All right. Another one project that you should probably know about is the SMP and the SMI interfaces. Both are, well, they are measurements on how to analyze and compare between service meshes, which is deployed and used by Meshry to do the same. Uh, Image Hub is a sample app that was built by us for using Envoy with WASM filters. This is probably something you should come back to after reading up on Meshry or SMP or SMI and service meshes, of course. Let me ask you this. How many people here are planning to work with either Golang, Docker, Kubernetes, or any cloud native tech? Speak up, raise your hand, anything.
I am actually. I just recently started learning Go.
Nice,
Yeah, I'd love to work using Golang.
nice. All right. So if you want to work with Golang, one of
Mm-hmm.
the first projects that you should be focusing on is the Meshry CLI, that is Meshry CTL. It's a small project written in Go, and because it's a small project, you will be much better accustomed to
Mm-hmm.
actually go contribute to it because the use
Awesome.
cases are less, and well, it'll be a good beginner project for anybody who's either learning Golang or well already knows it.
Right.
I'll show you in a minute how to fire up Meshry using the Meshry CTL, or which is the Meshry CLI. Even if you're not completely interested in working with Go, this is probably a good way to get you started, even if you're planning to just contribute to either web dev or some other domain, because this is the central project around which most of Layer5's efforts are coagulated. And well, it'll be a really good thing for you to go run it because you know what you're working with. You would have learned something at the end of it, I really hope. All right, so let's go run it. Let's try the Meshry site. That is it. All right. Another cool feature of Meshry, all you need to go do is run a single command. and it will download the repo for you. It will install any uh, side. I'll use very simple language here and just say side things that it might need to run on your system. All you need to do is have a Docker enabled system. On Windows, that means having the Docker Windows application installed. And I'm mentioning Windows separately because it's a little hard to get Docker running up and successfully on Windows. And I can say that because I am using Windows myself. So to use this, you should also have WSL installed if you are not working in a dev environment and you need to get it set up. For Windows, your best bet if you do have WSL would probably be the bash command. If you do not have WSL, then you need to go download and unzip the meshctl folder, which is a small release file from the meshctl page. There's a link here. Uh, it should already be in your path once you download it, but if it's not and if it doesn't work, then well, this is the workaround. You just need to go add it to your path, which is basically means just going and adding it to your to one small file, but that's for later. And then you just need to go run this single command, and I'll repeat myself. It'll download the repo, it'll install any of the buy um, things needed, and it'll fire up pastry and open it up locally in your browser on a particular host. Usually it uses 9081, but it might be different for Kubernetes, if I remember right. And well, let's go fire up Meshy. Okay, all right. I'm gonna ignore this. Done. All right, I was working on a particular lab for this one, but I'll show you anyhow what it means to run Meshy. I'll need to share my entire screen, so let me stop sharing for a second. Uh, yeah, Josh, you fall right into a category, and I'm not exactly sure if Podman would be um, the same as Docker, so then, or would work the same as Docker for Meshy. I'll have to check actually. Which OS do you work with, if I can ask? The chat is fine if you can't speak. All right, just a second. And oh my God. Okay. Uh, Ruth, could you take over for just 1 second?
Okay.
No issues. I'm back.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Really sorry. Okay. I'm just a second. All right. Let me just share my screen. All right. Is my screen visible?
Yep.
All right. Just a second. I'm sorry for the delay. Now, all right. So this is the Mestre UI, which will be pulled up after you go run this particular command on either your Linux or WSL or Windows or Kubernetes or any of the other supported platforms used by Mestre. You'll find a list of the supported platforms in the documentation. You can go look it up. I can recite them to you, but you can definitely go look them up. So currently it works in Docker, Kubernetes, AKS, EKS, JKey. We're working on Hem, Kindi, Kubernetes, Minikube, Windows, and I'm just reciting a random bunch of words now. All right, moving on. Back to the Mestre UI, which will be pulled up after you go run that command. I'm not running it right now because my system is not running Docker for some reason. But I was working in a lab before, and this has been fully configured. So let's just go with this. After you have the Mesh UI up, so basically, what Mesh does is it'll go and try to pick up the kind of cluster you're running and auto configure it so that you could be able to see it on your dashboard. I'm currently running Minikube, and you can see the connection status here. If you go click on it, what it does is it runs an ad hoc test, which will basically give you this pop-up notification telling you that your Kubernetes cluster is successfully pinged, which basically means that it's up and running and can be accessed. Um, it currently does not have the ability to tell you whether you're running outside your cluster or inside your cluster, but that's a topic for, you won't be needing it unless you are running some specific function, which I'll explain later. Um, Moving on, you can go ahead and try pinging any of the adapters. Um, Again, it'll run an ad hoc test and tell you whether you can successfully ping it or not. Moving forward, let's go ahead and try to install a service mesh. All right, let's go ahead and go to the management page of any specific service mesh. Um, Rename the namespace to anything that you want. I'll name it Istio. Let's go ahead then and install a service mesh for real. It'll again show you a pop notification with that says operation executing, and then you have to wait for a couple of seconds, depending on your network connection, so that it gets installed. Um, in the meanwhile, does anybody else have any questions before I explain further? Or any comments? This can range from the UI looks pretty to how does it actually work. All right. This is the perfect chance to speak up, guys, because, well, you'll get a verbal response here, and that'll be much more efficient than anything that you'll be able to get out of somebody on. Hey, George, thank you for that question. The UI looks pretty. Thank you. I will tell our UI team, and you can go tell them yourself on any of the community meetings. And how does it work? All right. I really should be more specific with the questions I give out. Be a little specific about anything, and I'll explain it to you. How does the adapters work, or how does the operations work, or how does the ad hoc test work? Ask away.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay, so I have a understanding of console and basically using it for service discovery and endpoints and basically using it in an application. But like the mesh, right? How like what's the use? Because like I've been trying to wrap my head around it. Like what do you actually mesh does? Like what does it do, and why will I want to like use it?
All right. I will go back to my original question, and you can completely say no to this, and it's more than okay if you say no to this. Uh, do you know how service meshes work, or what service meshes are?
I did some reading like about this, and like from what I read, it is service meshes are used for load balancing in clusters like Docker or Kubernetes. Am I
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So based on the reading you did, let me ask you one question that will make it a lot more clear. What do you think the difference is between a service mesh and a microservice? Because what you're explaining sounds equally appropriate for a microservice.
I don't really know.
That's completely fine. So the difference is a service mesh is not a separate layer, which basically means that it's inbuilt into your cloud architecture, and you do not have to go rebuild your entire network or rebuild your entire architecture to suit it. S- a service mesh will integrate itself into the architecture and perform any or all of the functions that you just described. It can be used for a vast majority of things. Load balancing is just a small example and a very good example. Uh, Thank you for that, Arpit. Uh, yep. And what mesh tree does, so if you have read about service meshes, you might have also come or maybe had time to wrap your head around the particular architecture that it supports. So service meshes have three planes, a data plane, a control plane, and a management plane. The management plane sits on top of the data in the control plane, and well, it manages. And mesh tree is an epitome of a service mesh management plane. And what it does is it allows you, uh, sure, we can't see you in 5. All right. And what it does is, damn, never really looked for it. All right. Yeah. It's the epitome of a service mesh management plane, and what it does is, well, it does this. It manages the performance of your service mesh and its workloads. And again, those are a couple of big words that don't actually explain much. So let me break it down for you. What it does is it manages, allows you to manage, allows you to analyze, allows you to go track, configure, baseline your service mesh performance, and analyze it based on, well, industry standards, or which is the SNI or the SMP spec. It also allows you to run performance tests based on the SMI spec, which is the service mesh. Yeah, right. The SMP spec, which is the service mesh performance spec, and the SMI spec, which is the service mesh interface spec. And it allows you to access those configurations. It allows you to run performance tests, load balancing tests, and it uses a sample app called Layer5, which we developed ourselves for the same, or to give you a consistent workload across which you can go conduct performance tests, and you can analyze your service mesh so that you can get the best performance results out of it. It also allows you to compare. For example, this is a very good GIF explaining how performance tests work. In addition to all those features, Meshry also allows you to compare or analyze your service mesh based or compare in comparison to other service meshes, and figure out which one's the best, which one you can employ for your own benefit or for your own improvement. And yeah, that's it. I really hope that answers at least part of your question, Josh.
Uh, Excuse me, I had like one more follow-up question.
Sure.
Hello,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Am I audible? Anybody? Ruth, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you are. Yeah,
Okay.
you're audible.
Nice.
Hello,
Yeah, Arpit, go on.
I had this one more follow-up question.
Sure. Go on. All right. I hope Arpit will be joining back. Josh, does that answer your question partly, or I'm hoping partly at least?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does partly.
All right, let's chat about this in Slack, and I'll try to explain it in a bit more depth. Or I'll pass on some resources to you, which will hopefully explain the same thing. All
All right,
right,
thank you.
anytime. Arpit?
Yeah, yeah. I had one more follow-up question,
Yeah.
and it might sound stupid, but in Meshery, so are we providing the service meshes, or are we just providing how to like manage them, or like the performance metrics of?
That's not a stupid question. We don't believe in stupid questions on this particular meeting. And no, we do not provide service meshes. Service meshes, for example, Istio or Consul or Kuma are completely separate projects that are huge projects and are governed by their own committee, by their own organizations. What we provide is is a plane to manage them or to analyze them. If you want to go read up on Istio or Consul, I definitely recommend you to. That will also help you understand Meshri better and what it does. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, thank you.
Nice. All right. So remember about 10 minutes, 5 minutes ago when we installed a service mesh? Well, it has been installed and you didn't have to run a single command manually for it. And that's it. Istio has been deployed. You can go ahead and run any sample app supported by us on it. Um, so the server that I was working with and on which this particular instance of Mesh is running already has Ingress installed, which is just a way of exposing your cluster. You can use anything uh, as opposed to Ingress or whatever you are comfortable with or partial to. And you can go ahead and, well, install, let's go install Bookinfo. Any of the sample apps, which again give you a consistent workload to compare against. I realize a lot of these words might not be making sense at the moment, but they definitely will if you go read up a little bit about either service meshes or even go read up the mesh documentation. We actually added a pretty good part about uh, SMI conformance or adapters or what they are. And if you go read up, I'm more than sure that you'll understand and not need me to blabber on it for an hour. And yeah, that's it. You can go install any sample app, you can go install any particular configuration. You can also go validate your service mesh by running any performance test that you want. You can also go integrate Grafana or Grafana boards, charts, or Prometheus metrics and go compare it against it. Any performance test that you run, the results are stored as a long time report over here, and you'll find results for the same. Any SMI test that you run, the results will be shown here and will be stored for your benefit. Again, I realize a lot of these things might not be making sense at the moment, but they will if you go read up on it. And again, the Bookinfo app is deployed successfully, which basically means that you can go implement a couple of the features of any generic service mesh, for example, load deployment or HTTP request or anything that can help you understand the service mesh's features better. And yeah, that's it. That should suffice for the basic tutorial. Anything else that you need to go understand or anything else that you need to go or that you can't understand, please do ping us on Slack. Please do ask questions. We'll help you out. We'll help you understand better. We'll help you start working on it. And again, if you are interested with Golang, uh, let me pull up something here. Yep. The Meshri CTL or the Meshri CLI works and runs on and breathes Golang. So if you want to contribute, you can go. Well, the first thing you need to go do is run Meshri and understand how it works, so that you can go contribute to the project. I definitely recommend you to go and try running this on your local system. If you can't, or if you hit any roadblocks, ping us in Slack and we'll definitely help you out. And yeah, that's it for the Meshri tutorial. Moving back, we already talked about the side projects. Ruth already told you about the questionnaire. All right. If you're in the community and if you can't find a domain to work with, or if Golang isn't your one true love and you want to go ahead and find another domain to work with, well, we recommend you go get yourself a meshmate, which is basically a mentor within the Layer5 community. These people have been pillars in centric projects and are very well versed with their own domains. You'll find the domains that people have worked with or their position in the community, not exactly position, but I can't think of a better word. So we'll just go with Meshmate. Um, you will find their domains here. And if your domains sync up with these, and if your time zone syncs up with the same, go contact them and go ask them on the Newcomers channel to be a matchmate, to be a mentor. And I'm more than sure they'll say yes. They might say yes before you ask, actually. And yeah, that's it. I'll give a small intro. If you want to work with Mesh CTO, go contact Nipper. If you want to go with web dev projects or any of these side projects, Nikhil or Tanuj might be your best bet. If you want to get a lay of the land and start slowly working out with Mesh CTO or Meshri, go contact Vijay. If you want to work with documentation or side projects, go contact Ruth, go contact Kalichi. If you want to work with Meshri, SMI, SMP, or any of the big sounding words, go contact Kush or Nikhil or Nupur or Vijay or Tanuj or Ruth or Kalichi. And I'm more than sure they'll help you out. Um, Apart from these particular people who have been highlighted here, you can also go contact basically anybody in the community if you want some help. And if you do not get an immediate response from any of these people, contact me. I'll help you get connected. I'll either help you out, or if I can't for any particular reason, I'll help you connect to the person or the next best person who can help you. And yeah, that's it for the meshmates. And um, I'll give in 5 minutes here and allow you to speak up or allow you to get a word in. Any other questions? Anybody can find something to get started with? If you can't, I'll say this, it's really our fault for not engaging you enough. So please speak up and we'll help you out. Um, as the list is a little short here, probably because of KubeCon. Arpit, have you found something to work on or any project that catches your eye?
Yes, I did. I found this issue on Meshri regarding the scalability of UI icons for Safari. And
Okay.
like, I had some questions
Yeah,
regarding that.
that works on Firefox and Chrome, but doesn't somehow work on Safari. Yeah.
Like no, not just that, but when I started working on this, like I
Mhm.
explored the code base. And so unlike I used to work on React apps like before this, like very
Okay.
small React projects. And but in this project I don't know like where to start from. Like if I want to start reading the if I want to have an idea key where it's starting from, like what is the component that I have to work on or I have to tweak. I'm having a little hard time regarding
All
that.
right. Well, let's go have a look at it. Instead of talking about it, which issue is this? Could you point it out to me?
Um, yes, like
Just a sec. Let me open up. Go ahead. Which issue is this?
okay, that's it's like the first time for first timers only.
All right. I do not remember the exact issue. I'm sorry to say. I definitely
No,
can go look it up for you.
no. I don't mean the issue. I was it was like my question was that like whenever I'd make changes to the code base,
Hmm?
like when I used to work on
Oh,
React projects, like it
yep.
reflects
Hmm.
right away, and like hmm,
Yeah, yeah, I got your question. Just a sec. How are you building Meshi?
uh, what like yeah,
Um,
I used using the makefile commands. Yeah, I did.
yeah, okay. Are you using just a sec? Are you using these commands?
Yeah, I did.
All three?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
Okay. And it's not rebuilding on its own?
Wait a second. Like, do we have to use all three commands like
Yep.
every time? Oh, okay. I see what it
No,
means.
not every time. Not every time. So if you please do make sure that you run the first two commands before running make run local,
Mm-hmm.
because well your site won't be redirected, and which means that it won't reload every time you
Mm-hmm.
make a change, and it's a huge pain to go run the same command every time you make a small change, and that's you can't work that way. Even I can't work that way. um so yeah, that's it. So after you actually it's pretty well laid out here. So to access the Mesh UI development server on port 3000, you need to go select your cloud provider by navigating to 9081, which basically means that after you run make run local, it basically allows you to go work on the Mesh UI and allows you to reload it so that you can actually go make some changes and see the changes in real time. And what it'll do is it'll forward the port from 9081 to 3000
Mm-hmm.
so that you can do the same. So if you're running all these three commands, I'm more than sure that this will happen for you. If you're not, I suggest you go run these again. And if you
Okay.
can't, then send me a
Hmm.
screenshot. I'll help you out.
Okay. So you're saying ki the first two commands that we'll have to run these only the first time,
Yeah, yeah.
and then make run local and from next time.
Yep.
From okay. I'll-
If you're using the same repo or the same local repo, yes,
hmm.
you'll have to run the first two commands only once.
Okay. That's that was it.
Nice. All right. Josh, how are you doing? What have you been working with? Or just a hi. Uh, so then, can I help you with something? Anything that you need to get started with, or any project that has caught your eye? All right. Spell it out for us, and I'll help you get started if I can. All right. If you're thinking of working with Mesh CTL, well, everything I just blabbered on for about the last 40 minutes should help you. If you're still stuck or if you're still not very sure how to work with it, I'll recommend go run Meshri, go work with the CLI for a bit and figure out how it works. To get set up, all you need is the documentation. Let me just open it up again. Yeah, all you need is the documentation here. Which OS are you working with? Windows, Linux, Mac, some fancy. Yep. Okay, so Fedora, great. I think Brew would work with you then. I'm actually more than sure Brew would work with you. So if you're working with Brew, it's a simple two-line command, and that should get Meshri up and running on your system if you already have Docker enabled. If you don't, then you will have to do a little bit of dev setup, which basically means that you'll have to go run install Docker and get a cluster up and running, which you will be able to do if you Make your way to the supported platforms and then go with just sec. Huh. Yep. Go with Minikube if you haven't, or if you haven't worked for Kubernetes before. It's one of the easiest things to manage because it only spins up a single node cluster, and you should be good to go. And after you have played around with Meshy for a bit, or at least have it up and running on your own local, um, go try out any of the issues or any of the open issues on the Meshy repo. Focus on Meshy Ethereum. I think we have a couple of open ones still. And if we don't, issues are added pretty frequently. So I'm more than sure that you'll find something. If you don't, ping me. I'll help you out. All right. Well, um, seeing that it's just the three of us or the four of us.
Hi.
Hey,
Okay, so I was pretty interested in working with the adapters, and like I think we had a meeting. I think that was yesterday. I heard a lot about it from Kuma,
okay,
and he sent me docs on the adapters. So I'm reading the docs, and when I'm done, then I can. I think it should tell me how I'll approach everything. Yeah. So when I'm done, I'll see how I can get started with contributing to the adapters.
sure. If you planning, are you talking about working with GoKit?
Yeah, working with the Go Kid Mesh Kit. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, all right. If you are familiar with the project, and even if you're not, go contact Abhishek. That is the best source point source. If you can't find him on Slack, let me know. I will help you find him, or I'll help you get connected with the next best person if he is busy for this particular week.
Okay. Okay.
Great. Uh, all right. That's it, folks. Let's end it on time for once. If anybody else has any questions, I'm here for the next 5 minutes. Please go ahead and ask them. And if I haven't instilled it enough times, this is the best position for you to ask questions because you'll get a verbal response, which is much faster and much on point than anything you can get on text. And that's it. All right. Thank you for coming in, everybody. Same time next week. If you want to join up, if you don't want to, or if you think you graduated from the newcomers meeting, um, go ahead and join any of the community meetings based on the domains that you're interested in. You'll find links to the meetings, to the meeting minutes, to the channels associated to those particular working groups. And well, thank you for coming in. Thank you for attending a newcomer session and hearing me talk on for about an hour. It's no small feat. And that's it. Thank you for coming in, everybody. If you have questions,
Yeah,
please stay back, ask them. If you don't, feel free to leave.
yeah. Thanks everyone for joining in.
All right. All right, let's end it here for today.
Bye everyone.